morning, folks, and thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching us, this is your Joy News channel on the multi-TV Digibox. We'll also be live on Joy FM. My name is Bernard Nasser Asaibu, and this is our sessions with the CEOs and business leaders as part of My Business 2012. Today, our featured guest is David Ampofo. He's the Managing Director of Channel 2 Communications. He's also widely known for hosting Time with David on a plethora of media platforms. He's an award-winning journalist. He's a television personality and documentary maker. He's also an acclaimed public affairs and media advisor. He set up Channel 2 Communications more than 2 decades ago. Channel 2 Communications is into strategic advice, media relations, crisis management, and documentary productions for a host of multinational firms and local businesses. Today, he will talk broadly on his experiences as an entrepreneur and what you need to do to avoid failure. Sessions with the CEOs, like I said, will be live on your Joy News channel on Multi-TV, as well as the Super Morning Show on Joy FM. For listeners who want to participate, all you need to do is to dial MTN short code 30057, and pay 1 Ghana CD for 45 minutes. My Business 2012, as always, is a partnership between Joy Business and the MTN Ghana Foundation, celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions. David, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
Welcome to our sessions with the CEOs.
Thank you.
We'll now proceed to introduce our mentees soon after we return from this commercial break. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is your multi-TV Digibox. We're also live on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM. This is the sessions with the CEOs and business leaders for My Business 2012. Our featured guest today is David Ampofo, widely known for hosting Time with David on television. We're going to get to know who our young entrepreneurs are, and I'll start from my immediate right, Kezia.
My name is Kezia Meningeje. My company name is Tidier Services. We're into the production of liquid soaps and detergents.
My name is Nida Kootu. My company's name is Austin Dark Limited. We are into general body maintenance and management.
My name is Cephas Tokono. I represent a foundation called the Positive Ideas International Foundation. We advocate, empower and train persons with disability to live beyond their challenge.
I am Georgina Piamponsa, J&G Cake and Food Network. We are into cake decorating, sugar crafts and pastry making.
Bedi Aban. The name of my company is Zenis Automobile Company Limited. We are into car brokerage.
Good morning. My name is Nokpulim Ahiatoga Marcus, CEO of JNEC Productions. We are a theater house productions company, and we are also into reality shows. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Stephen Oseyao. I'm from Quality Courier Service. We do deliveries from shopping to letters, anything deliverable. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Elolo Avise from Locate Plus Tracking and Fleet Management Service. Our services allow corporate bodies and individuals to protect their vehicles, detect fraud, and also save money for them. Thank you.
I am Latte Wakeme of UPF Company Limited, an agro-processing company specializing in the production of organic foods, especially pure honey.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Gamelino of Sunny Smiles Dental Center, and my business is in the provision of good oral health care in the areas of general dental care, family dental care, and cosmetic dental care. Thank you.
So David, that gives us a fair idea of the mentees we have for today. Yeah. And by kind courtesy of the MTN Ghana Foundation, this year three top performers will get a 10,000 Ghana cedi package to support their businesses. Wonderful. This project is brought in association with the MTN Ghana Foundation, celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions. David has a lot on his mind he wants to leave us with. So I'll now hand over to David. Let's hear what he has for us.
Thank
over
you,
to you, David.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Good morning, and it's nice to be with you all. In Bernard's introduction, he mentions that apart from sharing my experiences, I'm here to sort of help you in terms of what to do to avoid failure. I want to make a quick comment about that bit. You know, failure is not forever. Failure is not something to be afraid of. What to be afraid of is your inability to recover. So just remember that. There is no problem at all about falling down. Just make sure that you get up. Okay, so let's get that straight. You know what Bernard told me that I would be spending my time with you. I quickly sat down and I just made some quick notes. Okay, so let me just quick notes as to some of the things that I, as somebody who has run a business for 20 years, have learned and just share them with you. But before I begin, I want to say that you are special. You are in a special group of people. I don't say it lightly to flatter you at all. You really are, because you are entrepreneurs. You're going out there not looking for somebody to give you a job to do or in a salary, but you're going out there, you're taking a risk. These are a special breed of people. That's what you are. It's not easy at all to decide to go that route. It's a lot easier to probably work somewhere and know that after every 30 days or so, X amount of money will emerge. When you're an entrepreneur, it's a different story. People say to me, what's the well, entrepreneur means January $10,000, February $15,000, March $5,000, April $0. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the kind of situation that you are in. And the truth is that you have to be able to ride that, you know, in a good way. So when there's more, you can do more. When there's less, you do less, you get by. It's 20 years since I set up Channel 2. What is Channel 2? The same sort of attitude of yours. I was a journalist, I could do stories, so I went to companies and said, let me do documentaries for you, period. That's how it started. I still do documentaries. Till today, it is still a key source of income for Channel 2. Documentaries, programs. We do Time with David. Time with David has been off air, but it will be back in pretty soon. And that's another product of Channel 2. Okay, so over the years, and then we had the advisory side to our business, which is strategic communications. So with our experience in media and communications, we try and help people fashion out their messages. What should you say? How should you say it? How long should you put it out there? We are good at campaigns. We love to tell people that we run campaigns. I like communication campaigns. We don't like just one-off communication. I like a campaign. It means that we have sat down and planned. It's going to run for 6 months. We have decided what we are going to be saying, whether we're going to be using radio or television or print, overall strategic thing. And then you can feel the impact. Otherwise, it comes and goes. And you know, the way things are, we are replaced every day with a new hustle. Because we are all hustlers. I mean, honest with you, we are hustlers. The guy out there maybe is hustling a bit more than you, but you're a hustler. You get up every day, you're trying to figure out how you're going to do it. This is the reality that you face in this environment. So let me just take you quickly through the notes I made. And you know, I was tempted to put them aside because, you know, as I meet you, I feel like talking from my heart. But I made these notes from there as well. So let's see whether we can work something out. What is my experience? One, to be clear from the start is indispensable. Principle rule number one, in my view. To be clear from the start is indispensable. Don't be confused. It's not easy, but it makes it a lot clearer. To be clear about what you really want to do, and often we are very clear about what we want to do. Trouble is we are not too good about who we want to do it for, how they want it, what, you know, there are a couple other questions, what, how, why, you have to answer them. So to be clear from the start is indispensable. If you find a good partner quicker, the better. Believe me, you share the load. It's fantastic, and you feed off each other. You also have to know that at some time you might want to maximize your business. Don't just sit on it. So you only get a certain point. You must know when it's the right time to sell, meaning to open up. Because if you don't pick it at the right time, it might not come back to you. I'm also tempted to say to you that if you are an entrepreneur doing something and you found a chance to go to business school, to actually go and study, do it if you can. I'm telling you, it just makes you better at what you do. So don't underestimate that. You'll find that you probably will be able to run your business better. You find that you don't initially, expensive expertise can come later because you have the ability. And you can make some of those critical decisions initially. You will learn that many things that improve the business come from that partnership. That's why I just wanted to get back to that. That's why it's important. When you can find good people, keep them. You will also, as you go on, also remember that you might be the entrepreneur. It doesn't mean necessarily that you are going to be the good business manager. You may have the idea, you may be so and so, but look, you may need to let somebody else come and do the rails, run the place. It's so critical that you sort of separate. Also, another point is linked, but separate yourself from the corporate body, the organization. It's very easy to get locked up in it. In a business like mine, where because of television I had a certain relative amount of prominence myself, I almost began to find that a rival to Channel 2 was David Ampofo. I don't know if you understand what I'm driving at, but and that can undermine overall the business. But that you must separate it. Be very clear about that. Okay, I learned also that never let anybody tell you that you don't need you know what they say all the time, you don't need a full-time accountant. You don't need a full-time accountant when you start. Oh, you are too small, you don't have enough to work for accountant. Don't mess around with it. I don't know what full-time means, but all I'm saying to you is that an accountant is a critical ally. Look, keep your books in order. And the financials are key. So you know, I spend a lot of time, you know, having people say to me, you don't need an accountant, or let somebody come once a week, and then that accountant spends some time. He wants to advance, he wants to get on with it. He's studying and so on. You know, accountants, they're going from one level to the next level. Before you know, he's gone. He's looking for a job. He's not there to be your part-time guy. Do you see what I mean? So don't underestimate that, because you'll get a lot of that. And as I say, keep your books in good order. I learned that also. If you don't keep your books in good order, I promise you, you'll end up paying the same person twice. Hear what I said. And that's when you are really finished. When you start paying the same person twice, just because you haven't kept your book, you don't even know. That is disastrous, but it can happen. I'm afraid to say you have to also look out for the revenue agencies. You see, for the revenue agencies, as long as they can identify you as having put yourself into the formal sector, and they have a sense that you are reasonably successful, if you are not careful, they are the ones that can bring you down. I mean that, extremely important, because when you're an entrepreneur and you're building up, sometimes you have like a windfall. There are times when maybe some major transaction pops up and they come and select you to do it. I mean, you do a turnover rate of maybe $100,000 a year, and then a particular year suddenly you do $1 million turnover. The year after that, to be honest with you, you are going back to your $100,000, but the tax man, when he comes the year after that, his reference point is the $1 million of the preceding year. And suddenly he's singled you out. I mean, once you go and touch that kind of sum, he thinks, it doesn't even, so all those things you must be careful with. You must understand the role, how to relate to statutory organizations, keep the right books, because it can undermine the business. You end up paying monies that you shouldn't be paying, and so on and so forth. So be clear about those things. I want to talk about branding, because what you represent can be more than what you have. Listen carefully to that. What you represent can be more than what you have. That's the thing about the brand, what it stands for. It's really what you have, in difficult times and so on. When you go through stuff, that's what takes you through it. You have a brand, meaning that your company is known for something. It stands for something. So temporary or specific things in the life of the company are one thing, but the belief in your ability to deliver a good product or service will always triumph. You simply can't underestimate that. So creating a brand is important as you go on. Don't let us sort of run a company for 2 years and then think it's 4 years, and then after the 5th year think it's so simple that we just want to go and change its name. After people have you built it, people have known it for a particular name for a certain period of time. When I was coming here, I was looking at a nightclub there. That nightclub used to be called Caprice. Then it's called Boomerang. Now it's called, it says Boomerang, now known as New Phoenix. I'm thinking, wow, I don't know what's happening there. But really, even if it's the new owners, do they not recognize the value to the name that has existed for a while, that the place has come to be known for? Do you really want always to go back to zero and start all over again? Even your corporate identity, whether it's even a logo or so on, some consistency is important, because that's your face. The brand, that's your face in the market. It must be consistent, just like a human being. Can you imagine what it would be like if today I meet you and I'm looking at you so cleanly shaven, the chap in the back there. Then I meet you tomorrow, you are wearing a beard. Then I meet you over the weekend, your hair is gray. Who are you? Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you are like this, clean shaven, you maintain that look, it makes for quick recognition, easy. That's what I mean. There's value to that. So don't underestimate that. Then I have to say, don't compromise on creativity. I'm not sure that it's really don't compromise. The point is that be innovative. Allow yourself to search. Do not be constrained by so-called ways of doing things. Reach out of there. Try different things. We do too many similar things. I've got a point here that says, hire good people and have the ability to keep them. And that was deliberate. Because it's one thing to hire them, it's another thing for them to be around when you need them. And some argue that the way to keep them is to leave them alone. Some say hire good people and leave them alone. Don't stand in their way, because they're good, have the confidence. Leave them to do their work. But bottom line is, hire good people, but more importantly, you've got to be able to keep them. People, reinvent yourselves as often as necessary. That's the other thing I want to say to you. Reinvent yourself. You see, you might be pretty much good at selling shirts, and there may be, for some reason, a problem with it. I mean, you can't just sit down. I mean, maybe if you try to sell trousers, I don't know, it would be different. But what I'm saying to you is that don't be constrained, and keep your mind open all the time in business. You have to. Things are changing. If your business isn't doing well, you have to learn something new to help push your business. Something has to happen. I'm just saying, if it's people that you need, find them. Find good people. Be willing to share. Be willing to open up. The cake will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And just know, because I really want to sort of wrap up, because I want to hear from you. Just know, and I really want to end up on that you are in a special group. If you really consider yourself an entrepreneur, it means you have decided that you have a good idea. You're going to go out there and try and sell it, make something out of it. You're the one that's going to employ people. You're the company. You're the one that's going to grow a company. You're the one. There's nothing like it. I mean, every time I hear even governments talk about gross domestic product, I ask, what is that? That's the sum total of the activity of the entrepreneur, of the private sector. That's gross domestic product. What is it? So you are critical. So without saying too much more, Bernard, let me just say, keep at it. I tried to share some of the difficulties I've had, and I've had many. I still have them. I can assure you. It's not as if I've had them and it's all over. But the good thing is, I am still here. And remember that only a certain, I don't know what it is, but you should research, you should tell me. They say only a certain percentage of new businesses are still there after what, is it 15 or 20 years? I think something like 5 or 10%. All the rest disappear. So it takes some doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. We've been listening to him for quite a while now. I'm sure there are questions which are running through your mind. This is the Sessions with the CEOs and Business Leaders, My Business 2012. We're live on Joy FM. We're also live on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. This project is brought to you in association with the MTN Ghana Foundation, celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll take your questions. Stay with us. Welcome back to My Business 2012 Sessions with the CEOs. This project is a partnership between the MTN Ghana Foundation, celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions, as well as Joy Business, accurate, reasoned, and empowering. It's time for us to ask questions now. I'll set the ball rolling by asking my very first. When we were in the break, I was asking David that what kind of faith or heart does it take for a person to start to run a business on his own? I mean, because you start, and then for the first month or the first 3 months or even the first 6 months, there's no guarantee you strike up a business arrangement to continue surviving. What keeps you moving?
Belief. You have to believe. It's like religion. You don't ask any questions. You just know that you're going to figure it out. I'm telling you, you really just got to go for it. Okay. I'm sorry, there's no other magic. And I guess a fair amount of, look, I mean, seriously, I don't mean it badly, but Charlie, you have to also be a little crazy, I mean, because to just think that, something's going to happen when you can't see where it's coming from, sometimes you have to be like that. But the thing is that if you believe in it and you focus on it and you work on it, it happens. You see, it happens. It happens.
We'll take our next question. Dr. Gameli. Yes.
Thank you very much. Bernard, just as Mr. Obafemi said yesterday, we should have an unshakable belief in what you do. So definitely that's what we have to do. Yeah. But Mr. Ampofo, when you look at reinventing yourself, when you look at being innovative, there's a distinction between that and maintaining a brand. But it looks as if you should maintain a balance, because if you are reinventing, you tend to have to change your brand known, how you'll be known out there. What advice will you give on how to maintain a balance? Whether do you have at point in time separate yourself from that brand and so that your reinvention can be taken into consideration, or you put everything under one? I don't know. What advice will you have?
You really can't. I mean, you said that if you're reinventing, it affects the brand. It shouldn't. It doesn't necessarily. It can. I can see why you say that, because when you think about reinventing, you tend to also feel like if you're not careful, it happens. You have a relaunch and so on, and then there's a new image and all that. Often, if you look at it, it's really a spruced up image. It's not really a change, unless there's an ownership change or there's a fundamental thing that's taking place within the business. So they are not necessarily exclusive. You can. The thing is to understand the corporate identity brand. You have to understand that and be consistent with that. I mean, when I say reinventing yourself, what I really am referring to is, and it's almost like saying when you are down, get up. That's what I mean about reinventing yourself more than anything else. Meaning, I find a way to make your product or your service or yourself of value again, just in case what you've been doing for some reason is dipped, because maybe other people have learned, you're more competitors, but you have to reinvent yourself. What is it that you must do for people to know that, I mean, yes, there may be now 10 other production companies, but Channel 2 is the company. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You have to reinvent yourself in the face of competition and so on. That's what I'm referring to. And it really, and in a sense, in terms of branding, the link really can be, if you do both, even it can be stronger. Meaning that you can actually rethink it, relaunch the services, and then say to people, have you seen my new face? That's the new, have you seen my new face? It's still a face that will be consistent. And it's not often too different from what's there. It's just sort of fine-tuned, So that's the way I look at it.
We'll take our next question.
Hello. I have two questions. We, JNEC Productions, from next year, our theme is patriotism. We want to do a series of stage drama and reality shows to inspire patriotism in Ghana. We believe that Ghanaians have to fall in love with Ghana again. Now, this is something that I see going beyond just next year. But somehow we have a theme, a general theme that we are working on. There are other aspects of issues we want to work on. So how do I effectively combine this? Because right now, the passion for the patriotism is so much there. It's an agenda, we have already discussed it, and we have plans for it.
And what is competing with that again?
So far we have had some specific issues bordering on Christianity that we have touched on with our productions. Okay. And we have other issues concerning discipline and other social issues. Okay. So how do we handle this one vis-a-vis the patriotism?
If I understand you clearly,
I don't follow the question.
They are in a dilemma. There's a major campaign they want to run next year on patriotism. Right. But much as they channel their energies towards that, they don't want to sacrifice the other projects they are also executing as JNEC Productions. They want an effective balance.
But you mustn't. Why must you? This is another thing I was talking about business. I mean, I have suffered that way. My company could be a lot more successful and bigger if I was able to do several things at once. You find yourself, you're doing time with David. When you start doing something else, you stop time with David. No. the real growth is when you're doing time with everybody. You add something on. It's not replacing things. Are you with me? So what I'm saying is that you need to be clear about that. That particular project is a long term, and you said it, and it will help you with branding also. You'll be surprised. You come to be known for a certain subject areas and so. But you have to, you see, business has also got bread and butter. There are some things that you just got to be doing that keep things going whilst you are planning your larger and more noble projects. That's the funny thing. It's those little things, people doing little for you. That's what keeps you going, really. So I don't know if I answer your question, but essentially what I'm saying is that don't feel necessarily that you are in trouble. See it as an opportunity. You really have an opportunity here. You just got to separate the teams clearly and let it be known that this is the project for here and that's another project. And the more you can do, the better. As long as you're not necessarily compromising the quality or anything. So don't. But it doesn't mean to say that if you really think about it and you are better off focusing on the one project where you have the patriotic, where you have it doesn't mean that that's not something to also consider. You must make that decision really about how to do. But they are not. You could do both also. This is what I mean.
Okay, Mr. Ampofo, how have you personally dealt with competition?
Yeah, good. Look, it's a fantastic question. I mean, I don't know whether I've dealt with it well enough, to be honest with you. I think sometimes my tendency is been to try and, somebody says, who are your competitors? And there was a time in our lives where we actually said, oh, we certainly were not even sure. I mean, we were just comfortable at what we did and we knew we did that. But you have to very quickly understand that others will do it and so on. I mean, the way to deal with your competitors really is to understand that they are there, not to be consumed by what they are doing, but understand that they are there, and understand that you must improve and add on to what you are doing, okay? Because and remain consistent and deliver a good product and be competitive, so that even though there are several people that enter the market and are doing the same thing, you remain a key service provider, because you have come to be known for a good quality product. But also, I have to add that also reasonably priced, because we run into that difficulty a bit when they start to say you are too expensive. That's got its own. But that's not always a negative thing, what it does is that it lets some, especially when you're small, only certain people will come, if you see what I mean. So I think the real way to deal with the competition is to up your game, is to understand that, times are changing, others are learning, improve what you do. You can't do the same thing all the time. You must improve your product. You must take it to another level so that you can stay ahead. I think that's the way to deal with competition, is to focus on giving that better even from yourself, from your company.
Yeah, you talk about we not being afraid of failure, but inability to recover after the failure. I'm glad you did talk about that. But honestly, there are a lot of youth out there that is the tag that is keeping us down. Yeah. Because failure is probably sometimes climbing up to a certain stage and falling down. Yeah. You probably fall sometimes to break your leg, break your arms and stuff like that. Yeah. I want you to give us some tactics, because it normally becomes like a canker when you fall down. It's difficult to, family comes in to say, hey, you again going to start this again and stuff like that. Yeah. So I want you to give us maybe some tidbits on how to rise up, because I'm practically saying this thing from a personal experience I have. So give us a tidbit of how to rise up, irrespective of maybe the community or the environment around you.
Look, I mean, you see, and I like what you said. Let me just tell you firstly that you are not alone, my brother. I mean, you say you're talking about personal experience, and you are right. I also talk about personal experience. So fortunately, what I'm saying to you is that, look, we will fall down, and I was saying we must get up. And I hear you when you say to get up it's not so easy. And so you're looking for me to try and help you with a way for getting up. But you see, that's the whole point. There is not a route for getting up. Okay, this is some of the things that you have to understand. You must find it within yourself. And you mentioned that family says you again and all that. That's normal. That will happen. But if you are single-minded and you're clear about what you want to do, especially if you want, maybe to answer your question, especially if you can take a moment to understand the circumstances that made you fall. You see, the truth is that if you spend some time on that, you may discover that falling was not really such a magical, huge event. There might be quite a straightforward reason for it. You know, and what that does is makes you even stronger. You know, we can only learn from our failures. You see what I mean? So you have to, look, if you believe in something, don't go all over the place, pick a bit of this, you do it, stop, pick a bit of that, you do it, stop, pick a bit of that. That's not going to help you. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the way to do it is once you get into something and you sink your teeth into it, hold on to it. Hold on to it. I mean, you may have to do it a different way, but you'll still be doing it. So, as I say, there's not a route for getting up when you fall, but there is always the possibility that you get up and you get on, and you must seek that option. You can't sit down and crumble and say it's not working, and because you tried something once or twice and it hasn't worked. You really can't do that. It's perseverance, you know. So just get up, get up again. Yeah.
Please, my question is about hiring good people. What do you do when you have identified somebody who is good, but your company cannot pay the person?
Yeah, you see, that's a good question. You see, I mean, and we struggle with that all the time. You know, I mean, what do you do with it? I mean, look, in the end, when I said about hiring people, as I said, you must keep them. You've got to be creative. You've got to find a way that rewards the people in a way that keeps them. And sometimes they might find people whom a salary alone is not sufficient for. And why should they? I mean, you see what I mean? And there is no reason to be concerned about sometimes even going to a point where they have a stake in the business that you have created, because they will come and they will take it to the next level. So they're valuable people that, you know, it depends, especially if that's the kind of person you're talking about. Good, serious person that's going to add something. You see, don't forget that if I'm here and I bring somebody here and I bring somebody here, you see, it's getting bigger, the company. If I'm here, I bring somebody, always somebody smaller than me, another smaller than me. That's not good. That's not going to take you anywhere. So you will find people who are really good that you can't necessarily afford. You've got to find ways to share with them a vision. Once you have the conviction that they bought into the vision, then they are really your partners, aren't they? Many of them can become your partners, and by just being your partners, the remuneration issue changes immediately. It's not just about money. They are into it. So you find that you can talk. So there are several ways to do it.
Cephas, yes.
Well, mine is not a question, it's a contribution. Just want to share this with you, what we believe, you know, as a foundation. We believe that you cannot fail all the time, but you can fail sometimes and make things better.
Correct.
And then we should also remember that failure is just an occasion and not a condition. And then there's always an opportunity that comes your way when you fail. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good point.
Well, Mr. Ampofo, just to add to what you said about the question of good people, I think I have a personal experience where I needed an architect to help me in my work, because I come from the background of mechanical engineering. Right. And what I'm doing now falls a little towards the architectural discipline than mine. Yeah. So I needed them to help out if I have to do well in the industry. What I did was to see a friend who was an architect. I told him, hey guy, you know, I know you earn so much, but this is what I want to do. If you can afford, come, let's do this together. Whatever we get, we share. So come, let's create and share. So the point of paying payment and stuff like that, we get afraid of, didn't come in at all.
Correct.
So Georgina, I guess you can do something like that.
No, you're absolutely correct. Look, you have to really take big steps quickly. I mean, understand the risk element. It has to be calculated, but you must take it. They will not always be there. People will not always be very interested in what you are doing. So you have to understand that, guys. Don't try and do everything yourself and get swarmed and no. If you've got a good idea, share it. Will be big. Please.
Okay, Elolo, before you ask your question, we'll take a quick break. When we return, you ask your question and then we'll wrap up. Stay with us. This is Sessions with the CEOs, My Business 2012, brought to you in partnership with the MTN Ghana Foundation, celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions. We'll be right back. This is My Business 2012, Sessions with the CEOs and business leaders. Our guest today is Mr. David Ampofo of Channel 2 Communications. He's also widely known for Time with David. We'll take a very final question from Elolo and then we'll wrap up. Yes.
Thank you. Hello?
We can hear you, yes.
Hi. Yes, my name is Elolo Avisa from Locate Plus. David, I think it's very much that you're sharing issues about failure today, because some of us basically fail from positive 90,000 a month to negative thousands. And by some crazy fate, we have come back to where we want to go now. Great. My issue this morning, once again, is about branding. Essentially, we run two companies, two broad services, one in tracking and fleet management, and the other one in IT support. They are both doing pretty well. My issue really now, we registered one legal company under which we operate both divisions. Okay, let me call them divisions. Now, I found a way to deal with the management side by basically getting somebody to be responsible for Locate Plus, and getting a new person soon to be responsible for the managed IT services. But my challenge now is, for the sake of the branding issues, whether to just project each company independently as separate legal entities, or to maintain one company name and take them as divisions and move forward. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a common thing, more common than you think. I mean, my initial reaction, and you have to look at, there are also some tax and some issues that you have to, technical issues you must clarify, what's better to have. But really, from a branding perspective, I mean, sometimes we fear too much. We must not fear. Because, I mean, what is it? I mean, it's MTN Foundation, it's MTN Transport, it's MTN so-and-so. Are you with me there? It can be so different. Virgin is extraordinary in that regard. Started at Virgin Atlantic. And the airline is there, and he went to so many other things. He took Virgin with him. The master brand is what you must be trying to focus on. Your master brand. And then you've got the derivatives from there. So, I don't know, I mean, you may call it Locate Plus. You see, sometimes when we name the business almost so that it explains what we do, it can be restrictive. Because then you feel like when you apply it to another area of business, it doesn't fit. So it's important for you to understand that a generic sort of thing is also useful. Don't get too bogged down in that. So you've got the generic thing. So if it doesn't matter that, I mean, Locate Plus can become so successful, and yes, maybe it's for tracking vehicles and so on. But if you for some reason, you went and put some money in restaurants and started doing well, you could say Locate Plus Restaurants. I don't know if you see what I mean. You can, as long as the name becomes bigger than the meaning of it. Okay, so we can talk about it some more. But it's a typical issue, and it can be resolved. And if you resolve it, it will really speed up stuff. Otherwise, you can struggle with this for the next 15 years. I'm telling you, you will go and come back to it, go and come back to it, go and come back to it, resolve it. He said to me about the company. By the way, I've never worked for anybody before. It's very strange. It disturbs me. Sometimes these days, I hope somebody will give me a job. I'm not joking. I'm really telling you this today. Because, you know, I haven't, right from National Service, I set up Channel 2 20 years ago. And I've been at it till today. I mean, I have just never, I want to experience it. I mean it, to be part of some operation where, you know, I've also got some role to play. For now, it's tough, but we've got to keep going. And I enjoy it. Remember, be challenged, be enthusiastic about what you do. That's the key way to keep going. When you stop enjoying what you are doing, then be careful. Let me tell you about business. You're not going to do any successful business by being bored with it. You are not happy, but you are just doing it. No, don't get involved in that. That one you can leave, I can assure you. Find something that you like doing.
We'll take a very final question from Bedi Aban. Afterwards, we'll have the opportunity to interact. And so, yes, certainly.
Okay, I'm Bedi Aban. Basically, I'm into automobiles, kind of a car brokerage business. Recently, ever since we started this activity, I've had an encouragement from the CEOs, and I quite remember when Mr. Kojochu making a point that they have to trust your instinct in terms of picking the right person. I had a call from a friend who said he was interested in what I was doing, and then he wanted to put in some capital. Now, my question is that I sat with him last Friday. We spoke, and then it looks as if he's bringing a chunk of capital into what I'm doing. My question is, I'm trying to see from this point that I'm trusting my instinct that the guy is good. He's being not really a long friend, but just a recent friend. But from what he's saying, I believe that what he's bringing is good. But apart from trusting my instinct, what again should I trust before taking this guy in my business?
Well, I mean, look, there's something called due diligence also, isn't there? I mean, you should take your time. First of all, you need to be clear to yourself what you need additional money or whatever is coming in for. I mean, what are you going to do with it? What is it for? And how is it going to change what you're doing? Where is this additional investment going to take you to? From what point to what point? Be completely clear about that that's even what you need in the first place. Okay, that sort of. But once you make that decision, then there's the issue of this might not be the only person that will approach you, especially if you have a good idea and it's doing well. More and more people would like probably to buy into it. So you got to do your due diligence, which means that you've got to be clear about, in your own mind, about, as I said, the kind of partner you want, what you want him for, and then have a look at this individual or this lady, whoever it is, and take your time and make that assessment. You can ask for advice. There are people, that can provide you with professional advice on this. That's another thing that I must mention to you. Must be careful with. Too many of Ghanaian business, too many of us, we don't like advice. Everybody thinks they can do everything. Don't try and do a big thing like that on your own if you're not quite sure how to deal with it. And the fact that you can't deal with it doesn't mean that it mustn't happen. Then there's paralysis. Because you are not able to deal with it, you might miss a great opportunity. So you might want to bring an expert in and say, look, this is the situation, and let them help you decide whether this is the right deal or not. So yes, apart from your instinct is there, and by all means listen to it, but don't sort of sit around and imagine that, if you have a certain instinct for something, that's all you need. No way. You have to go through the rigor, the whole thing, and do it properly. Don't be afraid of it, because that's also always tricky. Then you start thinking your thing may change, it's not ready. But, spend time with the person, understand their thinking, make sure they understand your thinking. Do you share the same, and if you don't, how can you work together? All of that. So be open about all of it. Discuss it. It will make you more confident about the decision finally.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that Mr. Ampofo has given us way too much to think about. I can see a hand up with questions, but unfortunately we've run out of time to be on TV. We'll still have the opportunity to get clarifications to grey areas we may seek. Join me in saying thank you to Mr. David Ampofo.
Thank you, Bernard.
For giving us a lot to think about this morning. David, thank you so much.
Always nice to see you, Bernard. Thank you.
We'd like to say thank you to the MTN Ghana Foundation for making this year's project possible. They are celebrating 5 years of sustainable corporate social interventions, and this is testimony to that, as it were. attribute of the MTN Ghana Foundation. We'd like to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you to all those who called into 357. God willing, tomorrow we'll bring you yet another edition of our sessions with the CEOs for My Business 2012. Have a productive day. Thank you very much for watching and listening.